All right, let's go, everybody. 1 minute till open. Got on nice and late here, but we're here. We're ready to go. Got our levels, got everything set and ready. Let's get the delta back to the way it should be. Okay, cool beans. Looks like NVIDIA is kind of opening in range from yesterday. From overnight, just above yesterday's range from 129 to 120, 130. What's up, Jovi? How we doing? How's it going? We are opening at overnight highs. The data came in at 7:30 here. We got 232,000 as opposed to 230. Pretty close. 240 was forecast. 228 last month. So or last week, I should say. 8:45 we'll get some more, and 9 o'clock we'll get some more data. So there may be some dancing around by then. Let's just wait and see kind of what we got going on, what's on store for the docket here today. So just let's see. Because of that data point, I would anticipate longs to come in at some point. You noticed on Monday or Tuesday, forgot which day it was, but I believe it was Tuesday, we opened at overnight lows. Being in an uptrend, I wanted to take shorts from the overnight lows. However, we're still in that same uptrend. We got data points that are still pointing towards rate cuts. The jobless came out not crazy overly overblown. The revision yesterday that we got was pretty negative, which is ridiculous. That downside revision was 818,000, almost a million and change. You got a squeeze right here on the open. So kind of what I'm getting at is I don't look to short this immediately just because we are opening on an overnight high, right? I am looking to see if we can let the market tell us a direction. Maybe it'll pull back to previous day highs, fail to break down previous day highs, and then rotate higher. That's something I would be looking for a continuation play. I did mention 20,200. Next stop is 20,068. And then 20,100, 270, I said would probably be high of the week at best. If we get some more data at 8:45 and 9, we're getting some new data releases as well. 8:45 is composite PMI, and 9 is existing home sales. So two things that are going to create whippy behavior. Yeah, there's that previous day high from yesterday. We just dipped below 20,000. I'm not looking at it right now, but size down below, nothing crazy. That was a really nice failure of our overnight high, like our strategy calls for. However, S&P's is over that level. I would anticipate this kind of breaking and continuing on, especially until later. So I would play a momentum break here on one contract just for fun. Give it one shot. Probably should have waited for that previous day high to get touched, but still think that there's strength here. 982 was my key previous level that I wanted to break and hold above. So let's see if we can get this to continue on, straight on upside, or if it's going to fail. If we get up closer to that 20,020, I will go to even. Like I said, I'm only playing this with one contract for that long idea of breaking that overnight high again, especially with the strength in the S&Ps. NVIDIA is still pushing up. Come on up. Nope. Dancing around. Like I said, I'm not the best breakout trader, but I'm giving it a shot because I want to see if it'll work out through 20,000. And NVIDIA getting a little selling pressure, so this probably stops us before it does what it wants to do, but we're going to let that previous day high give us the indication of what we want. Still feels strong, right? There doesn't feel like heavy sellers want to come into this. The aggressive sellers disappeared there at the bottom. We are now pushing up over that level. We held through that little bit of a pullback, and now let's see if this will break through that high. Like I said, 20,020 will be an interesting area for it to push through. If it doesn't get there, then I'm going to get stopped out, right? But I'm going to let it dance around and see if it'll play to the long side. I haven't been playing these longs great because I haven't let them breathe enough, and I think that there is a chance that if it does get up and hold above 20, that it does just continue to rally all day. Looks like we're going to sweep now the low. Trying to be aggressive on it. Didn't work out there for me yet. Still dancing, still dancing, still dancing. Holding that previous day high. S&P still holding above. Oh, there it is. We've stopped that one out. Gave it a shot. Took a chance. Took a chance at the long. Probably needed to wait on it for another, maybe a hold, a break and a hold. Like I said, my timing on breakouts isn't the best. I was trying to give it a shot there. This is my normal failed break up strategy. Let's wait till 8:45 now to try and do any re-entering. I think I burned one of these. Yeah. All right, we'll take that off the copier since it's going to be not eligible. 50,636. And that one as well. So we are still getting through it. Yeah. Switch over to one account at a time. 48,485. Okay, there we go. Was not. I was actually. I got in a long position on S&Ps on one of the accounts from the bottom, and I wanted to go to bed, so I trailed it up to 50,030 something, and then actually no, 5637, and then it stopped me out right there, and you could see where it ended up. So I could have let it go, but I just did not. I'm gonna give it a chance one more time through the high if it does get to this area here again. $845 number. I think it'll whip the algos around a little bit. Maybe it'll give us an opportunity to give something a shot. Still kind of going through it. Like I said, I deviated right there from my normal go-to failed breakout strategy, which would have netted us $500. And instead, I grabbed the $500 loser, trying to play the breakout on an uptrend open through the high of the day. Yeah, you definitely don't want to hit max loss on any XFA, any PA, any sort of funded account. Do not max loss. Scale down for sure. I'll give it a shot one more time. I think the buyer comes in. Just based on the behaviors here. I mean, we do have the delta that's still pushing on lows, which is interesting. They're filled, and we're going to be long on that, see if it'll play or not. If it's going to fail and stop me out, then it's going to be back to the drawing board for next week for sure. Yep. It's a good thing I split up these combines. The other one is still up a little. Still okay. This one's in peril. This is very bearish to me. It does feel heavy. I tried that long twice now. Maybe I'm not a breakout type person. There needs to be some sort of other setup besides just failing key levels, right, for this to work. So these don't work. That's another banger there. That's good. Try that short. Hopefully it works out because we just tried two longs. Didn't work. I'm going to go back to this one. The only one that's got any sort of room left. And we're going to wait and be patient and see what happens after 9 o'clock. Give ourselves some time. The normal fade the high strategy worked out real nice there. I just bitched out and took the other side of it based on everything for me that hasn't been working. So I have just kind of flip-flopped into trying something else, seeing what may work in this environment. Clearly, that still works, right? The overnight high down to the previous day high and pushing in towards VWAP. Normally, right, we take that first failed breakdown, risking up above. That's $500 each trade there, obviously, because we lost 500 on that one. In short from 95, 3 micro stop is already at even. Perfect. That works. Yeah, I'm just in that August is getting to my head kind of month. I think it happens to a lot of people. I'm just trying to show the realities of all the trading. I could just not be doing this, but I am going to keep going through it and see what I'm doing wrong, what kind of adjustments I can make, right? After having a pretty much near perfect month of July, the month of August has been as equally bad on the opposite end, right? Not even from doing dumb things or deviating too much from the plan, but at this point now I'm in, like I said, refunding mode, trying my best to gain as much capital for September for the better trading months. I've seen tons of really good opportunity. Yesterday I did dumb stuff. I got off stream up 200, ended up max drawing down because I missed something and decided let's try and do it later for combine purposes. If it was an XFA, I would have hit the lockout button. But for some reason on the combine world, I decided to do some little different behaviors, just trying to get back to funding because I know I could be there. Unfortunately, that's getting me into some trouble more so than anything. So next week and into the beginning of September, hopefully I'll be able to. Huh? Okay. Thank you. Oh yeah, you can take that. Thank you. Short squeeze espresso, back at it again. Also, I think my routines are definitely thrown off. School started, trying to bringing the oldest to school, get onto stream later than normal. Maybe not settle in as much as I have been able to. I'll get back to it and be better than ever. But right now we are just kind of treading water. More, not even treading water, where we are hemorrhaging. The boat is sinking as far as funding accounts and combines are going. And this is just kind of, like I said, I wanted to be honest. I want to be live and straight with you. Like I said, once I took that payout from July, every single day has been pretty much red across the board, barring just a few different opportunities that I've taken. I've called out some really good trades. I think realistically understanding the market environment I should be able to capitalize on it, and unfortunately, just have not been able to. I think more so pressuring it to be there instead of just taking what I see and moving on, right? Very frustrating month of August. I can't even show you my trade reports because those accounts are gone. So the month of July was great. We had one losing day in the whole month, and it was the very first trading day. Um, Took the payout for the last week of July. Waited for 2 days for the account to clear the balances so we could trade comfortably without seeing it. Then we had that yen carry trade melt off where I just was like, all right, I'm going to keep my hands off. And then ever since the day after where I maybe could have made quite a bit more, I made just a very small, break even type trade. And then every day following that, it's two losers, bang, 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 bang. I, didn't learn my lesson to size down quick enough. Waited till it was too late to size down, and that's kind of what got me in trouble, right? So it is what it is. We're just gonna try and do our best to go through this period and then continue to move on and get better every day. Right? Seeing the market, I have pretty good understanding of what I'm seeing, right? I just don't quite have the entry feel at the moment, or just the ability to let things move and do what they want to do, right? This could be a long through this previous day high, rejecting previous day highs. S&P is still holding the overnight high, but we do have that number in a minute, or not even a minute. How many seconds are left in this? 15 seconds left till that number comes out. There's the pop and the fade, the algo manipulation there. I'll buy one through the high if it does get back above that. 55, 54 was consensus. Previously was 55. So nothing has changed. It's the same. So flash PMI for manufacturing, 48. I'm going to give this a shot long. If it breaks through that high, now that algo kind of settled in a smidge, I'm going to give it a chance. I did talk about this trying to be a long from the previous day high based on the support level, based on the lack of sellers. This sort of wedge type pattern here. I think NVIDIA is creeping up above VWAP. Dead center of the range for NVIDIA from the overnight. Looks like it wants to push up towards that 130.78, 131 level that it touched off on the pre-market session. So yeah, you got the 55, which is still inflationary, 48, which is not. 48 is below that 50 mark, which is good. And 54 composite is interesting there as well. Well, that number coming out poorly has now driven markets down below that overnight high. Was a relatively weak break, right? That was a nice. I mean, this isn't very tradable as far as getting and holding that short. But realistically, if you got in on that short there and you took off, at least trailed out to the previous day high, you could have played it a second time and been up 1,000 instead of down 1,000. But I switched my idea to being long biased a little bit here still until that meeting comes out, that rate cut decision comes. We're just pulling right into VWAP, which is that normal failed break strategy, right? I don't know where the S&Ps can get to. I don't have that level drawn up on the upside, but I do actually. 57.08 quarters for the highs. Getting back up that direction. Let's see. NVIDIA's kind of telling me that it wants to go up still, even though it has pulled back into that lower end of the pre-market session. I really like the long through that previous day high. But I'm not going to chase it. Going to leave it alone. See if we have any size up on the books. Nothing that I see above. Down below we have some flashing red. Nothing huge. It seems like just more like algos showing hands and disappearing. 35 contracts, 20s. Let's see. Delta is starting to catch a stronger bounce from the low. Nvidia still ticking up. Still dancing sideways. A lot of probably waiting for that 9 o'clock home sales number. Existing home sales. Still failing those highs. I just got to stick to the normal go-to every day. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Failed breakout strategy, right? Every single time we get something like this, that big pop and that immediate pullback, you do get a failure of that overnight high. How deep that pullback comes down to is really kind of up to the market, obviously. But like I said, most of the time we can at least, especially if we're up and there's a ways away between the previous day high as well as VWAP, you could at least get that pullback down to or close to VWAP. And then, go from there. I would like to see where it ends up if we get down through lows. If we get below VWAP, do we get down to 926? 926.75 was an area that I was interested in. 926, right there, 75-ish. 925 to 926. Right in that area there should be a resistance point. Obviously this low of the candle here at 19,938. Also an area of interest. Microsoft pushed all the way up towards its high from yesterday, wicked the high from yesterday and rotated back down. So yesterday's high wicked and is rotating off of yesterday's high for in Microsoft. Nvidia is still up over previous day highs, so still relatively strong. However, it is selling compared to, I think I deleted that. Yeah. Oh, hopefully somebody either faded me on those two, took their normal go-to failed breakouts twice, and is in a short that they can hold and hopefully make some money on. If you're trailing to VWAP, then you've made money on it. It's a great execution there. Personally, just not doing great this month. Like I said, trying to stay out of my own head, stay out of my own way. Obviously, it's getting in the way. Certain executions aren't the best, but we are, still giving good call outs, still allowing everybody the opportunity to make money. Like I said, I'm not a good signal service. I'm just able to provide you good values, understanding when and where there is going to be interest and opportunity. Obviously, if you're on the wrong side of it, you're wrong quick. If you're on the right side, you're right quick, hopefully. Just have a plan coming into the day, have a plan coming into what you see. After the data released today, I kind of anticipated it to be a more of a trending type day, and that's why I was trying to shoot my shot long. I still think it's probably right to shoot it long. I think up until 20,100 up to 20,200 by the end of the week potentially is realistic. Downside is always possible. I am a bear at heart. I kind of think that a lot of this is overblown and propped up on a lot of nonsense. But overall, like I said, just kind of react, let it kind of tell you what to do. Alrighty, kind of just wait until this 9 o'clock comes out, see what happens at 9. leave that there for now. Alrighty. Gonna try it long there. If it gets through that high there. Kind of cheating it. I should wake up a little higher. I don't want to get ticked in. Microsoft approaching highs again. Nvidia still creeping up. NQ just fighting it a bit. Still downtrodden a bit here. Still below 984. Looking like it wants to get into the opening range and then shoot back up. Opening range is there. This is the opening range here. Hang down to lows there. See if it gets into that opening range. If not, if it's going to reject it, then we're going to get stopped, and that's that for the day. But I wanted to give it a shot. Oh, it's 5 minutes to 9, so I kind of broke my rule there, and that's going to get me stopped out and done. There we go. All right. So I'll be your host with just analysis as the rest of the day goes on. I earned that loss there by not waiting till 9. There's a pop now. Oh yeah, another frustrating day. Okie dokie. I think realistically, like I said, the long play does make sense. We did fail that overnight high level, which was good. That break and failure, that was a really good, clean move for early if you are going to take the strategy that we take every time, except for today because I'm silly goose today. Tried to play the long before it even set up. Here's the actual setup, it seems like, with Microsoft trying to breach high of yesterday once again at 426.40. Could break the overnight high and run now that S&P's is up over the overnight high. And there's the actual entry, right? So because I didn't give it a second more and I didn't have enough wiggle room, I got stopped out, even though the trade idea is correct, right? So you could be right and wrong at the same time. And unfortunately, that's kind of where I've been this entire month with all my entries. I've been, the actual more frustrating part of this entire month is that I've been pretty much spot on with all of my analysis, is all my levels, pretty much directionality of every single day, and I have capitalized on 0 of it. So that's where it becomes the frustrating part of trading, where you're right and you lose money. It's like that's the biggest kick in the gut more than anything. And then trying to stay mentally positive in that kind of regard makes it difficult, right? I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to sit here and just say that I'm the best trader in the world. I'm not, that's for sure. Or mentally, like the toughest trader where I could just be like, it's okay, cool. Right? Everybody feels those emotions of this sucks when you lose, right? So for me right now, I just kind of need to figure out better timing, a little bit of just not forcing it into certain opportunities. When it comes down to these combines, right, I say I kind of over leverage them. I don't stick to the same risk management that I do in my XFAs, and that also gets me into trouble, right? However, the entries still should have netted me much better returns on all of these, right? Even last night, right? I should have probably not even had to trade that account anymore because I took that long at 22. I took the long on this account right here from that low. I'll show the execution so you can see it. Charts and data. Show chart execution. Save. I saw the opportunity there. I took this trade right here. Long through that level. It came back retested. I added a second contract because I was so sure about how strong this was holding, right? I added a second on the way back up. So we took the first on the breakout, took the second add here. I was going to take one off at this level there and leave the rest at break even. But I went to bed and I didn't want to go to sleep with the position on. And you could see clear as day. Once we retested here, got stopped out, then straight on up we went. And all the way to these highs where we're at right now. So, I mean, like I said, I'm seeing really good ideas. I'm seeing good levels. I have opportunities where I could capitalize on, and I'm just not really living up to the expectations of myself. So that's really where I've gotten into this little bit of a funk. I think every trader goes through funks. I think anybody who shows you that they're not is lying to you, or they're making money from their stream and from a course that they're selling you to tell you exactly what you already know, right? Of all this stuff. So just kind of keep going through it. If you're going through it, I've been there. I'm still here right now. No matter how long you've been doing this, there's going to be periods of time where things just stop working for you and you got to go back to the drawing board and then just go one trade at a time and just figure it out, right? There's another failure of the overnight high. Once again, you failed it once, you failed it twice. The strategy works like a charm if you just consistently stick to it. I'm going to take these executions. I'll leave them there. It's fine. Remind myself of what I took and where I got stopped. This is why you wait for that 9 o'clock number, because you want to see, is there going to be manipulation? It's an hourly close. What kind of push up are you going to have? What kind of dancing around at a key level are you going to have? That's really going to be the key to kind of why I take what I take at the levels that I take them. And why I wait for that 9 o'clock number, right? Because I didn't wait here, pushed up, failed, and trapped short. But if I would have waited for the hourly close, which would have been here, I would have seen, hey, that's not a bullish sign at all. NVIDIA and Microsoft both selling from highs. Yeah, I'm just kind of going through it. I don't have anything to tell you other than be cautious, allow your setups to come into play. Looking at the data points from today, we are seeing jobless claims ticking up, right, a little bit, 232. The continuing jobless claims, 1863. Previously, it was 1859, so still ticking up a bit. The Fed wants to see those numbers come down. This is not the official jobless number. It's the initial claims. So it's potentially, something that they're going to be watching. I think yesterday's revision on the non-farm is more of the issue of why this isn't pushing straight up more today, right? With the PMI flashes still showing slight inflation, but that's fine. It's kind of what they want is ticking slightly down, but not crazy. We're in line with pretty much all of the previous numbers. And then tomorrow you got Jay Powell speaking at Jackson Hole. What is he going to say? Probably a lot of the same, leaning towards a rate cut. Who knows? Thursday today was excuse me. Today was the day I kind of anticipated the push to the high side that we would get from now having pretty much all the data coming into tomorrow with the Fed Powell speaking at the Jackson Hole Symposium. There's going to be, I think maybe with the whole Jackson Hole Symposium, there's going to be a myriad of different speakers and stuff that you're going to get some data news kind of randomly released throughout the day. So maybe there's going to be worse, trading conditions here because of the uncertainty of what could be said throughout the day. So that's something else that I would keep in mind, be cautious off of. Just, like I said, overall, it seemed like it was going to be more of an upside type day, kind of trending up, opening on highs, all that stuff. Microsoft pushing into yesterday's highs. NVIDIA was pushing up to 130.75. Everything hit off on key levels and just sold off immediately. So technically speaking, we're kind of just playing technical chop games here. Still trying to hold the VWAP though, so I'm not still sold on anything selling off heavily. Maybe it comes into that overnight low, rotates, and then catches that bid up to 20,200, 20,001, 150. Frustrating. I'm never going to lie to anybody on stream. I'm never going to tell you I have all this random, I'm making money here, not there, all that stuff. Everything that I'm doing here is live for you all the time. Sometimes, like I said, you go through the kind of struggles that I am showing you over the last month, and you got to figure out a way to get out of that hole and then right back into your groove. Like, don't allow these months to try to grab on you. Just learn from them and kind of push through there, right? There's a nice little failure, push downside. Like I said, down to overnight lows could be a thing. Down to 902, 900 area. That bounce from 902 could come in, or we could just continue to flush and go all the way down, rotate out of previous day lows. But you can see there's the over trading from last night while I was just trying to do stuff instead of actually trading executions and setups. Gonna turn these off because they distract me even though I'm not trading. S&P is looking to kind of come in back to that previous day high level. It's not that. That's 2 days ago. I didn't adjust it. This is the previous day high right there at 56.55 quarters. The overnight low is there down below. I didn't move the overnight high, though. That was my bad on that. I apologize. That was 2 days ago, previous day high, so it is still a relevant number. There is a chance that that holds, but I just needed to move that out of there for now. So the strategy works once again, right? Understanding the failed breakouts, not wanting to be trending, which is interesting, right? And a day where I kind of considered maybe with the data that we would continue to push up. We didn't, so it is what it is. Now this is that 730 number right there. We've cleaned up that 730 low. That's right there at 19,937. So that was that first initial move from that jobless claims number right there at 937. So at 730, you got that manipulation push up to the upside, clean that up, and now you're rotating, cleaning it up on the other end. So now the heaviness is coming in, maybe more of the failed breakout. Beautiful trade. Once again, like I said, just the strategy works if we just let it work. Unfortunately, I have not taken it. That's a beautiful short right there as well. Especially because I would have had to wait till 9 if I really stuck to my normal plan. You wait till 9, you see the failed break, rotate down to previous day highs. That failure, pretty clean. Rotating down to 900, probably looking like it wants to get tagged off on that level, but it could front run 900. There is a decent amount of bids up leading into 900. All right. Right down to 910, 909. I believe there was some size at 908 yesterday when I was talking about that over here at 908 and then at 808. So interesting level where there was some size on the books yesterday. I don't see anything overly large down below 57, 70 lots. Trying to see the dome there. 900. 54 contracts just below 900. Oh, man. It's funny to me because I'm trying to make adjustments in an environment where maybe I don't need to make adjustments, right? Where my strategy works very frequently when most of the time, 75%, 80% of the time, this strategy works on a consistent basis, right? Because if the markets are trending only about 25% of the time, that leads to that number where if you're going to break out and fail, then the rotation is likely to occur. I want to just note that we opened on the overnight high and we did get the failure to the other side. We opened on the overnight low the other day and we immediately rotated up to overnight highs. So if we're going to open on one of the extremes, I'm going to have to just go ahead and take it normally as usual until it proves me otherwise. Right now, I'm back. Like I said, I'm back to the drawing board when it comes to funding. I have a good understanding of where the markets could go, where they will go, the directionality of things. Like I said, I thought it was going to go long based on the type of day, but then kind of coming into it and talking through it and seeing the price action showing us that it didn't want to do that. Now it's just telling you, okay, that's where we want to end up and push to the other end of it. So, why would I fight that failed break more than once, right? Why would I do it the second time there? We'll let it set up, come back and try it again. That's just me forcing in things on a combine that maybe I wouldn't do in a funded account, right? So not so great. Eight overnight lows could come in and get tagged. Since 530, 980. Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, this area here was super interesting for me yesterday. I believe that was the opening range or close to it. The opening range was down here a little bit, 830. That was the S&P's opening range down there, 531. But you could see the reaction from it at the overnight low there, right there. You could see tons of information coming in at that level. So there's a lot of interest anywhere from the overnight low all the way up to there. But we have actually shot up, right? 880. You'll get it eventually. It's all right. I still think down to overnight lows is a good opportunity. 900 low is the key area, and so is 5637 in the S&Ps. This is where I trailed out right last night, where I should have just been able to put it in and hold it the whole night and go to bed. But I'm a glutton for punishment. I just don't do things that I think are going to play out. Eventually, one day, after all these years of doing dumb shit, it'll all pay off in the end, and I'll be laughing at it when it comes down to it. I think by the end of the year, like I said, I'm gonna be very happy with my returns on the year, even though there's been a couple really struggled through months when it comes to combines, right? Once I'm in the XFAs and I'm taking the payouts, I'm doing all the right things, I'm managing my risk properly. But once you lose them, I go into lose you feel like you just don't have that income stream coming, so you feel like you want to force it back, and that's not how this works at all. You're not going to make money that way. So I'm back to the drawing board. Got to kind of check on some things, make sure everything's all right, and then hopefully we can get a few things going by the end of next month. By the end of this month, rolling into next month, right? Mm-hmm. Not much to do here for me. 902 looking like it wants to rotate. I spoke about 20,000 coming into play today. I spoke about 20,000, possibly 100, 200, probably off of the lows, overnight lows. So the fade of the overnight low would make sense. If we don't quite get to the overnight low, then right where we're at right now is interesting. Nvidia is kind of trying to hold that 128.50, but it's pushing down again a little bit heavier. Microsoft rotating off of yesterday's, like it was like a consolidated high from pretty much the later ends of the trading session. So it's right below that area where we were holding, which was 424.50 for Microsoft. It's 424.23, which is the overnight level. The only thing that I did see for the reason I took the long is the fact that the S&Ps was holding over overnight highs consistently here, where we were holding, and I got in long the second attempt right there. We were holding above overnight highs, looking like it wanted to break through high of the day there. So that kind of gave me the conviction that this probably pushes up to at least try and test this high here. That's my failed attempt at trying to play breakouts. This is why I'm not really the best breakout trader, because I kind of look for the, I guess maybe not the wrong reasons. It's not like it's a bad setup. It's a good setup where it's holding above a lot of key levels, holding above overnight highs in the other index, who has been leading us a lot of the time this past week. So that's why I stuck to the long idea there. And even when we got the pullback and the secondary attempt at it, where I got stopped again, right, that wick just above there, we were pushing up. You can see the wick here wicked us over that high in attempts to make a new high, to break out, to try and push up. And my thesis of going up to 20,100, potentially even up to 20,002 by the end of the week was there. But 20,000 is a nice round number. There is a reason why it probably failed there, because there was so many eyes on it. So realistically, I should have been able to just take the short and be comfortable with it. I got to get back to the drawing board, get myself back to the normal strategy of take it if it's there. If it's not, leave it alone and don't touch it, and figure out something for the rest of the day. If you get a trend and you get some pullbacks, maybe you can look to buy into the pullbacks. However, this initial breakout here did not work. Didn't work. And I guess when I'm in this period of panic to try and get funded again and get my money and be able to get payouts, I get into these traps of, that my strategy is not working, let me flip, or this is not working, let me flip that way. Just let it play. Let your things, if you know that your strategy is there, if you know that you have an edge, just play your strategy, play your edge. Don't try to add things that aren't there. It's just not worth it. Obviously, you could tell, because I'm just going to go burn through combines like it's nobody's business, apparently, right? I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them that I need to reset. I have one that's positive right here, this one, 50,454. But it still only has $1,000 of drawdown, so we can see what we can do with this one tomorrow. I'm not going to do anything with any of the other ones until next Monday, where we can start to see maybe some rotations off and get some, Jackson Hole will be over. We'll get maybe some more data next week that'll be a little bit better. I want to see it push to overnight lows. Maybe a failure of the overnight lows will give us an opportunity to go give whoever the opportunity, not me. I don't have any buying power left, but whoever is still trading, give you the opportunity to buy from that level there, that overnight low. I say there is a chance that we continue to rotate from here with the S&P's holding at 56.37. I would like to see it get down to that overnight low, 19,866. But we'll see what happens there. Anybody looking at anything else? Oh. All right. I apologize for the dead air. Not much for me to be talking about at the moment. I don't have any buying power. I have nothing to kind of explain out here right now. Microsoft is below, pushing two lows, below that key level from the. It's not really a key level. It's kind of like middle of that consolidated range from yesterday. The bottom end is 423.50 ish. So there's that. This NVIDIA swept through 128.50 and is trying to rotate back up off of it. This does look like a low basing type pattern, right? You're getting that support here. You're getting resistance up here. Which direction is going to win the battle, right? Where does price want to go from here? Does it want to manipulate up and then rotate back down the lows? Does it want to just come out of here, retest, and rotate out? Does it want to continue lower and make a measured move down to the downside, pushing us into like that 820 area before rotating back the other way? All right. This is a dead air stream. I'm going to get off at 10 today because I have nothing to present for you guys except for just sitting here and looking pretty. I just want to kind of see what happens with price at the overnight lows, see if we can get any action from there. I don't think it seems like we're not getting there, right? You can see that break back above. If it's going to hold this and break and continue on up, watch for the resistance, in this area. There's a lot of interest here overnight, a lot of interest here yesterday. That 941-ish level, 941 is an interesting point of interest. Interesting point of interest. That's redundancy. 19936 could be an area where their seller just ticks in and rotates us back down through. But you can see that's, the selling slowed down. Let's see what happened to Delta there. Delta got to a point where it just gave up, right? You have aggressive sellers pushing in all the way through, and then it kind of fizzled out, right? You don't see that really aggressive selling. Even when you're trying to make new lows, you're trying to push through and not quite getting there. Then you get a little bit of an aggressive buyer and you start to push up. Then you get another aggressive buyer pushing up through these key levels through 900. Wick-off high here right up to that 932 level. Still trying to push up, seeing if we can get up to that VWAP area with some solid aggressive buyers. I don't see them all stepping in at once, right? You can see Delta not playing through there, so not crazy aggressive buying happening at this high. See if that catches up or if it's going to continue to rotate back to the other side. Does this fail to break out and rotate the other way, right? But with that Delta, if we could crack above this high, get up to, like I said, 940, 936, 940. There's a 43 contract sitting at 944. So 944 has some contracts sitting there potentially to drag us up and to continue to pull the bulls in that direction. This is just kind of what we look for here. If you did take the entry long on the break above, you're kind of sitting up nicely, up 100 ticks already on that push. If you just played the break above 903, that's 100 ticks. Kind of see the winding up. If that's going to be the reason that you take that long there, this is what I do look for when it comes to key levels, right? I want to see that kind of movement, the lack of follow through in that direction. Even if you just catch that little piece, right? That's still just about 30 points. That's a nice clean move that you could catch if you want to just set a profit target, if you don't want to trail out and see how far you can get it to go because you think it's a downtrend, you're kind of fighting the trend a little bit. Set a profit target in an area where there's some interest, right? You can see all that consolidation there. The top end of that consolidation, there's probably a lot of orders. You could get 20 points if you go in on, one or two contracts, or if you're in micros, start to scale out or start to, or let it breathe, get to even and let it breathe and see how far you could take it the other way. It's just a matter of how you want to manage your positions. Gonna take a phone call quick. Give me a second. I'm gonna mute up. Back in action here, live. All right. 9:30 a.m. here, Central Time. Just kind of lingering around. Had to take a second to take a phone call. Still not much in terms of movement. Microsoft is kind of holding that low at 423, and NVIDIA is trying to hold 128.58. Just waiting, watching the clock. Looks like that sweep of 56.37 was probably the good trap of the shorts right into overnight lows there. Didn't quite make it to the overnight lows, but I, do not see that we don't necessarily need to sweep it like I talked about. This was a key structure level from last night, right into that 66 up to 70. It is a zone, right? You want to see these zones hold, and price is doing a good job of kind of staying above this area. Although we are in a downtrend with Microsoft pushing down, NVIDIA pushing down, they are both holding their lows for the moment. So just watch for it. Alrighty, I think that's probably at 10 o'clock. I'm gonna hop off. Like I said, the wife has an appointment to get to, and I've got to take care of the kids. I've got no capital to deploy. We're kind of just lingering around here, just waiting to see what kind of happens today. My mentality is a little bit fried at the moment. Like I said, I kind of just going with the flow with what I have. The setup was A plus right there in our face, and we didn't take it. Once again, here we tried to play the long, just based on trend continuation type idea of play today, which was a bad idea, right? I got to just play the strategy that I know works best and just do it time and time again until that we're back funded and ready to go. Still up on this account here. The rest of them are all fried and burned down. So we're going to go ahead and take it slow, one combine at a time. Get ourselves back to funded sometime for September. Hopefully we can get it done by the end of next week. If not, we're just going to keep working on just being our best every single day, not doing dumb shit, going over, setups and all that fun stuff. If you guys are still here, let me know if you see anything, if you want to go over anything other than what I got. Let me know. Overnight lows still approaching here. Nvidia breaking down the low of 128.50, so trying to crack through that. And the Microsoft trade is now pushing into 422.51 as well. So watching for that low to come in. Yesterday's low is 421.72 on Microsoft. So if we do flush through 422.50, watch out for 421.70, although we don't have to necessarily get that far to the downside. So just be cautious. We could be getting down to the pre-market low of 422.31 if we don't hold 422.50. If NVIDIA can catch a bid through 128.60, then watch NQ rotate back up and through to the other side. Like I said, my normal kind of routine once school started, kind of thrown off a little bit. Got to get back into a nice little groove again. Really just kind of being patient with getting off this stream because I want to be able to provide as much value as possible, even though I am in that drawdown period, right? Sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. Stressing over a lot of things doesn't really help. So just keep going, keep pushing, let your strategy, let your edge play out. Like I said, I have an edge. I have my strategy. I have it all there that I don't really want to deviate from, but I've gotten into this mode of trying different things, which is not really conducive to what I want to happen. And if you're kind of in that area right now, I know some people are willing to give up and quit on this. I'm not. I think that this is definitely what I'm meant to be doing as far as, teaching the trading and understanding the dynamics of these markets and really seeing the market very, very well. Like I said, I just allowing my trades to work is my problem at the moment. And, giving my opportunities, like I've been calling out highs and lows for the past month and I haven't executed on any of them, right? That's the biggest thing is my executions have been really poor. 880 just came in for Zukasan again. About 15 more minutes left in the stream. Waterfalls. Still just this price action is very slow, very muted. Like it's the summer month trading is going to be grinding, slow pricing. You're not going to get a lot of that crazy behavior that we got last week. It's good to get this back into healthy market conditions, right? This is better to trade, right? You're getting less manipulation, not as crazy as far as the spreads are concerned. You're getting good, tight price action. However, it is grinding and it is trappy. And if you don't understand what you want to see happen, then you're not going to be able to capitalize on these things pushing forward, right? So just want to be able to see markets do something and then react to what you're seeing, right? We've approached the overnight low. If you're somebody who likes to scale into longs or scale into shorts, if you're trading micros and you maybe start a feeler position at 80, then you work the failed break of the overnight low, have yourself a stop somewhere down below, where are you going to be wrong? If price breaches like 832, you're probably going to be wrong all the way down to previous day lows, right? So if you're somebody who starts to scale in on rejections, then this is probably where you're going to want to see, does it break and fail? Or is it going to break and rotate all the way down to this low of 832, right? That's an area where it's going to be interesting. Overnight lows now holding, right? There's that sweep down through the overnight lows. The play worked on the high side. Will it now work on the bottom end for a rotational type day? Microsoft, I talked about pushing down into the low and sweeping down through 422.31, which it did. It's now down at 422.14. Watch it try to bounce from yesterday's low at 421.72. If it just continues, then who knows? But look at that. Beautiful bounce, failed breakout, failed breakdown of the overnight high. You're up already 10 points on that bounce. Even if that's all you catch, right? Which it could continue on and on and on. And if we rotate through this top end here through 80s, right? If you can crack through 80s, then who knows where you end up, right? You continue on pushing through 80s up through 900s. You start to catch a bid. This is a great area for you to start to scale in, start to build in positions, right? If it's going to fail and not work out, at least you've managed your position size and you're able to kind of get in, hold it, and allow it to break, right? With the way the market's going. NVIDIA is trying to re-accept back above 128.40. If it gets up over 128.58, I would watch for this to continue to rotate up. This is the NVIDIA index, right? The NQ NVIDIA index. Microsoft gave you just a nice little push straight down to 2182. And this market's still holding relatively strong. So the way that Microsoft's selling, then there it goes. Microsoft sold right into yesterday's low. Does it bounce from here or does it continue to go? NVIDIA's trying to sell too. And Microsoft's getting really heavy. I'd be cautious on this next breakdown of the overnight low. If you're in long, I would mitigate into even and just hold on, because the way that these equities are acting, they may want to flush us. But with the way that they were acting, how heavy they were, and the way price hasn't broken down yet in the NQ, you may still be safe for this to go long. If not, if it breaks through the overnight low like it is right now, the bottom may fall out. And we would just like to get out at even, right? So if you didn't catch that full 10 points on that bounce, it's all right. I mean, realistically, you could have caught from 67 to 77 and then been trailed to 80 and had no issues right there on that bounce play. And now that this is sweeping through that low, maybe watch, do you get another lower low before you get a break? You're getting increasing volume here trying to break through the low of the day. You did not get a new lower low in Delta, so the aggressive sellers aren't stepping up here at the low. Still aggressive buyer. Maybe wait for this to break to the upside. If you do get the break of this trend, of this little wedging pattern, then that's probably when that true break back above may want to occur, right? You're back above it. You're into that trend. Can you squeeze through here, get back through 900, right? That's really what you want to see. Microsoft trying to hold yesterday's high, or yesterday's low, I apologize. Yesterday's low Bouncing from there, NVIDIA also gave it a nice like wicking tail bottom, and this is the overnight low here. So this is where that strategy plays out a lot better, right? Second time, failed break. You watching NVIDIA, watching Microsoft, you can play that bounce 2 times now, and you're up, another 20 points, 15, 20 points, 15 points, 15 points, 30 points there easily on just 2 little quick bounce plays from the overnight low. Same thing from the high, right? Even if you didn't catch this entire short down, if you played the break retest of it and then shorted the failure of it this time, pretty clean all the way down the lows without much issue. Unless you trailed the VWAP, then you're out. Most of the time, that's where I'm going to be out. But that's a good trade. You're catching pretty decent moves on these just reactionary levels, right? So if you can play the reaction from the overnight lows, from the overnight highs, that's where you really want to start to get involved, because that's where participants were involved on the overnight session, right? That's where buyers stepped up. That's where sellers stepped up in the past. So they're likely to step up at least one time, if not more, to being interested in this being the low of the day and to rotate it back up. Does it have to go to high a day? It does not. But if I'm looking for that mean reversion from the overnight lows, trying to get a push and a squeeze back over 900, and then into that VWAP area. So you can see now you've broken through that trend, right? If we go back to this here, you finally broke it. If you got your entry down at the low there, and now you've risked to the overnight low, your risk to reward is, easily 2 to 3 to 1 if you're being a little bit more cautious on it. If you're scaling into the micros, like I said, you scaled in at 80 a little bit, you scaled in on the break of the overnight low, your average cost is probably somewhere around like that 70 mark. If you have that average cost around 70 risking to the low of the day, you're still in, you're still safe, and you're able to kind of allow it to say, will it play out to the upside, or is it going to continue to rotate down? NVIDIA is trying to buy up, trying to stay from these lows, but it is retesting the breakdown point, so it potentially could rotate down with Microsoft still pulling to the downside, trying to do its best to hold that low of the day from yesterday. I don't think that there's any reason why Microsoft would sell off through yesterday's low. And NVIDIA is catching a bid now. Microsoft still trying to hold that 421.70. So there's that bounce play. Once again, you got yourself the break here and bounce. That gives you that first little, okay, I scalped. I got a couple bucks out of it. Same thing here. Break, retest. You buy it on the way up. As you buy it on the way up, now you're up another 20 points again, plus 70, 80, 90, up 20 points. But this time it looks a lot more clean as far as where it wants to maybe get up to 900. Maybe it gets drawn to this 902.75. If not, you've already secured a certain portion of it as a scalper, right? You're not looking for huge home run moves. You're looking to catch the easy part of the break, right? Catch the first 20 points, catch the first, 10 to 15 points, secure it. And then if it goes further, it goes further. You make some more money on it. If it doesn't, then you've mitigated your pullback and you secure some money on it. And, like I said, with scalping, especially in the NQ, price is going to move 20 points. Price is going to move 30 points. And then it's going to pull right back and then stop you out if you let it. If you leave it alone and you let it, it will. It'll manipulate all the levels. But if you can continue to hold, right, at even, let's say if that's your bag, or if you want to even hold below the low, you're still in that area where it's kind of safe. NVIDIA's at an interesting level where it could sell from at 128.59, 128.60. Now it's squeezing up over it, so it wants to get back towards that higher end of this channel. Hopefully it squeezes through 900, gets you back to VWAP. Microsoft held the low from yesterday. Everything's telling us this is the bottom for right now. So, like I said, the long from this overnight low was definitely the play to have, even if you were out at 900. Even if you got out, right, even a couple times, you're up a couple $100 on just one contract, right? 20 points here, 20 points there. That's $800. It's not that difficult, but you have to be patient and allow it to tell you what to do instead of just doing what we did before personally, where I'm trying to take longs and is against my normal strategy, right? Because the normal strategy here works, right? Allow your setup to get into the area where you're interested, and then understand the dynamics of price on why maybe the NVIDIA wants to keep going up, why Microsoft might want to keep going up. Microsoft's attempting to break through yesterday's low again. which would tell me to maybe start to either, if I have some size on, take a little bit off here and allow the rest of it to run, or trail it all out. It's up to you. But the way that Microsoft's getting heavy and NVIDIA being at a key area of where it broke down from before, this could end up selling and getting through that overnight low, and then you kind of give back all these profits, right? So it doesn't look like a huge move, and I'm not here to tell you that you need to catch big moves. You could just catch from the low to, trailing to 80, then trail up. Maybe it got to 90. Once you start to see price doing these things, there's the break of the low in Microsoft, the break in NVIDIA from selling from that high. If you're the type that likes to just stay at even or stay below and let your profit targets take out, understand where price wants to get to, why it would like to get to the areas that it gets to. Maybe you can hold it a little longer because relative strength is here still. But if NVIDIA gives up and Microsoft gives up, why not just take your money and then try and get a re-entry at some point, right? Talking about this one, there was two different entries here where you could have played this one cleanly, that 68 to 80, pretty much break, that first move, you always kind of try to trail it quick because it's going to pull back again, probably. If you want to wait for that second pullback and then that rejection, enter on the next candle, you're in at 70 and you're going to get stopped at even pretty much right now if it does keep going downside, which it likely will based on NVIDIA and Microsoft, and S&P is trying to break through 5637. But if it doesn't, then you're still safe at 71. But if you entered here at 71, rotating up to 90, 97, that's 15 points again. 21 points, 24 points there. So that's not a bad play, right? 71, 81, 91, 94, up into 900. These are really clean, quick moves that you can take to capitalize on to make more clean, sound trade decisions. And this is a place where if it does want to turn around, this is where it's going to want to turn around. And if it continues to push up through these levels, you're in a position where it's a cheap short, cheap long for the risk that you're taking for the actual, trend move to the upside potentially. If this starts to sweep this low and keeps going through VWAP, I would not be surprised if you do make it up to 20,001 and beyond. Right? That's the kind of positioning you want to find within these types of moves, right? You don't want to trade in the middle because you don't want to be, stuck somewhere just for that quick little piece. You want to catch as much of the big piece as possible by putting yourself in a good position at where likely lows and highs will come in. And then this is where a big player would say, I want to get long from here because this is where all the participants were overnight. I think I can get some more buys down here because people are going to want to sell to me, and they're going to rotate it back up through and up to highs. This is the area where the interest would be, right? Overnight low, rotate back through, up through 900, all the way. Like I said, if it squeezes 900, you're probably good and safe. NVIDIA's back up over and squeezing up. Microsoft's back up over, squeezing up. This is the time where you can pressure into VWAP potentially, and then watch what happens around that 940 up into previous day highs. If it breaches previous day highs, I think 20,100 does come from this low, right? This could be low of the day and low for this swing for a longer term bullish, behavior coming in. So that was the area where I said, you got to get long here. Yes, I say you could have, look for a re-entry here. Maybe the re-entry's up in this area if you trailed out. If you're somebody who's scaled in and wants to scale out pieces and then maybe scale back in, this is the time where it's going to start pushing up, give you that bullish behavior. It seemed like this is what you were getting out of that, little bit of a down. I guess this would be considered a wedge little thing. Overall, this looks really, really nice for price to manipulate through the low and then pop back up. My wife texted me. Hold on. All right, give me a second. Seems like the right idea there. All right, let me get some clothes for you. You got Max? There's that little bit of a push, but it hasn't been very strong through that 900. Nope. Sure, buddy. All right. Looks like the you might get the squeeze here. It could potentially happen. I think Microsoft is trying to squeeze back up. Nvidia is still pushing up. I don't know how strong it's going to be, but it does look like this is the area where you would get the interest from the buyers to continue to step up. And if they're not going to step up, then they would look like to rotate through down here. This is still, I think, to VWAP is safe. I think this probably is low of the day. If not, then just continuation plays to the downside. I'm going to be all but done here today. I appreciate everybody coming by. As always, I'll be back again tomorrow morning to grind it out with you as well. I got to get back into a good rhythm, and then we'll be back funded, and everything will be good to go for September and ready to rock and roll. But until then, I will see you all tomorrow morning, 8:30 Central Time. Later.